So we have a lot of business leaders in the audience, and we thought we wanted to take a moment to talk about business technology and get your ideas on how new companies really should exploit technology. Let's start there.
How companies
should exploit new technology.
Oh, companies. You know, a lot of times, first of all, when we started Apple, big companies in Silicon Valley, it had become known as Silicon Valley because inventor of the transistor had moved out there, started a transistor company, and then the engineers he hired split off to form another company, Fairchild, and they split off, came out of the existing big companies. And only since the recent times, we've got this idea of young entrepreneurs, where companies like Microsoft and Apple and Facebook and Google, you know, just came out of very young people out of college or not even out of college, and that's possible too. And then the big corporations think, my gosh, these innovators that weren't attached to the past and their minds weren't attached to how things are done, thought of different ways of doing things that actually work. How do we bring that into our own company? And if you look how, since Steve Jobs has returned to Apple, the great steps Apple has taken in products and services on the internet and things like the retail stores, it's like rarely do you get that good of advancement from inside a big company. So where does it come from? How do you spot another Steve Jobs, or on the engineering side, or another Steve Wozniak, you know, real capable and thinking and not tied to how things have been in the past? I don't know the answer, actually. I've tried to do it and failed. Obviously, good close connections to universities is probably a part of it. And I was less social than Steve, but he had connections with a lot of the local professors and some of the top students, and they'll steer you to the top students that think that way. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're academically strong, but that they are builders usually, and they can actually make things that work. And I would look for, if I was in a company, sometimes the CEO, like Steve Jobs, would frequently, I wasn't doing the business up at the end, but he would keep in touch with very young people, high school and university students, ones that were kind of keeping him apprised as to what they thought about products, meant quite a bit to him. And that's a good idea for any CEO. Try to get one or two of these little people, these people that are kind of young, up on what's going on, but hopefully that are builders, because builders know which of the new proposed resources, some new materials, some new types of chips, which ones can actually be developed and wind up making it all the way to fruition, to a final product. And a lot of people just read the news and talk it, but they really don't know what is real, what can really be done at the building stage. So I credit builders for all the advances. That's why companies deserve a lot more credit than somebody who says, I had the same idea 10 years ago. Well, every science fiction writer did too.